Hello, friends. We're back again. It's Fightful.com, and it's time for your post-Impact Wrestling review. It is Thursday, September the 8th. We got a lot to talk about. It was a newsworthy Impact Wrestling, and not my favorite episode, and we're going to get into all that. But first, of course, I got my favorite human to co-host with. Sorry, Tim. My ride or die, my TwitchCon fave. I got Cresta Starr. How you doing, Cresta?
Hi, I'm doing well. What a weekend for wrestling.
Nothing
A week.
happened.
Nothing happened at all. Actually, that's a lie. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Shane McMahon came back this weekend. He appeared in the Impact Zone tonight. Show's over.
It's over. Let's go home, everybody. We did do some stuff. I mean, over the weekend. Actually, I can say it now because no one else has said it on any other Fightful show today. On Fightful Select, we hit 11,000 subscribers. We were all about 10,000. Well, how about 11,000? We hit that number tonight. I'm very excited to see it. All the Punk versus Elite news that you can handle. We're not going to talk about that because guess what? Former TNA star CM Punk ain't working in TNA no more, so we don't have to worry about it. Tons of podcasts that you can hear about over on Fightful Select. And of course, how about non-CM Punk stuff? How about Bobby Fish leaving AEW and all the notes that went with that? And a Tommaso Ciampa interview drops tomorrow. But if you want the notes now, you can go over to FightfulSelect.com. Get all your news. Get everything you want. It's $5 a month. Get in there. Why wouldn't you? Cresta, you are going to be working on a channel that I do other work on, and that is that's something you got to plug right now. So go ahead. Tell them about your new show.
I am so excited. First of all, thank you so much to the Fightful family and to you, the viewers, for welcoming me with open arms. They've given me the opportunity to host my own very weird gaming show, coincidentally known as Gaming Gone Weird. I am going to be hosting with Jules the Human over on the Know Your News Network, and I can't wait to see you guys there. We'll be live every Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 3 p.m. Central Time, 1 p.m. Pacific Time. I think I got everyone in there. So pull up. Our first show is this Saturday, September the 10th, and we're going to be talking about weird games. I don't want to give too much away, but anything really weird, like changing your body, changing how this looks. Have you ever wanted to play as Rick Sands? Have you want to play as Cresta, Joel Pearl? Well, we're going to be talking about that on our first show. So I can't wait to see you guys there. Again, that's Gaming Gone Weird on Know Your News, YouTube/Know Your News. Pull up. I love him. I love you guys. Thank you so much for having me. That's it. That's my time. I'm off this soapbox.
Go subscribe to Know Your News over on YouTube. I don't host anything there, at least not yet, but I do produce Jimmy's weekly Know Your News show. That's going to start going live, by the way, starting next Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern. So go ahead, check that out over at youtube.com/knowyournews. Crest is doing stuff there. I'm doing stuff in the background there, but you'll never see me. Or maybe you will. Who knows? Cresta, Impact Wrestling tonight. I have to be honest with you. Since we started doing these reviews, we've been pretty hype. We've been enjoying the shows. This is probably my least favorite episode of Impact since we started covering it here on Fightful. How did you feel about the show? Do you want to do an out of 5 thing now, or do you want to wait on that?
Let's wait on that because I am living in the world of duality right now. On the one hand, if I'm being objective, this too wasn't my favorite show. Call me an old-fashioned woman. I like wrestling on my wrestling show, and this was very promo heavy. However, with all the madness that's been going on, tonight was a utopia. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, I'd rather be upset about, wow, I personally don't like this booking, but maybe someone else does. Or I personally don't like this versus, wow, I'm not going to see you anymore. So this is 5. I want to give it 5 out of 5, but that is completely biased. But it's our show, so I can be biased.
Do whatever you want. And you know what? I agree with you. It's nice to watch a show that doesn't have some weird, like, outward backstage politics playing out. Like, there was a story about Lady Frost that came out about a week ago on Fightful Select about her contract status. At the same time, Lady Frost is not an active Impact competitor. So say what you will about the story. That's not what we're talking about here. It's more that there aren't stories that are currently playing out because of situations involving press scrums and loud voices and fighting. It's very strange, but yeah, it's nice to come to a show like the Impact Post show and be like, nobody fought today. That's a big win. That's okay for me.
All the fighting took place in the ring. Who would have thought?
By the way, hey Chad, how you doing? I see some of y'all are agreeing with us when it comes to the whole like it's nice to watch a show that has cooler heads prevailing and all that stuff. It's great. So go ahead, toss us a thumbs up if you're here. If you're not watching football, well, you're probably better off. And also you can donate a super chat. Super chats are down the bottom of your youtube.com/Fightful chat window. Hit that little $sign. Any amount, get your question or statement read on the air. And we also have our Humper Chats over at humperchats.com. Cresta, go ahead, tell them what it does.
They are like super chats just on humperchats.com. You can still get your chats read live on air, and me and Joel will answer any questions that you have. We just get to keep a little bit more of the portion, and it keeps the lights on here at Fightful/Impact/Joel/Cresta, Team Joel Starr. So get those in. We can't wait to hear from you tonight.
My light, specifically the one up here, that one's been flickering. So I need money for a new light. That's what I'm telling y'all.
Help us.
Help us. for just any amount of money, the money that you get will put the lights on in Joel Pearl's stream setup, I guess.
He's not going to stream himself. Come on now.
I mean, I could. But you know what? Starting us off in the with the super chats, M.A. Solko says, Impact is returning to Vegas. Going to gamble big and own the night and hopefully bowl with the wrestlers. So yeah, they're doing Sin City Showdown, and they announced it for October 21st, 22nd at Sam's Town. That's a really cool venue if you are a wrestling fan. A lot of cool stuff has gone over there, including Ring of Honor shows, and of course Impact's been there a few times as well. It's going to be a fun show. So that's going to be after Bound for Glory. So if you get your chance, go over to that Vegas show, go gamble, go make all your money, and then go bowl with the wrestlers. Apparently, what are we doing? Is that a GCW callback, Solko? What is this?
I don't know, but I'm gonna say I have a feeling that if you rub around Ace Austin, you might get lucky. I just have a feeling. I don't know where this feeling is coming from. I just have a feeling.
Well, if you want to know what to gamble on and how much to gamble, you should watch BTI so that you can listen to George Iceman.
He's got the scoops.
His scoop this week was a match that's already been announced. And then after that, he also confirmed an announcement that had already been made, which was Edward Edwards wanting an answer from Josh Alexander, which was, of course, what finished off tonight's show. So that's interesting. Oh, there you go. There's VIP tickets for the Vegas show that have a Saturday morning bowling with the wrestlers. That's hilarious. And
that's
I would
really
love
funny.
to do that.
That sounds really fun. I suck at bowling.
I don't care. I need to get on that. I want to know who from Solko, if you go, and I know this is a month, 2 months almost from now. Report back who's a good bowler in Impact and who's not, because I feel like that's a scoop that we need on Select. So
honestly, yeah. Send a tip, an anonymous or maybe not an anonymous tip.
just send it to just DM me on Twitter at Troll Pearl. Hey, by the way, so I know we just said that the show wasn't our favorite, but I do have to put something over. Cresta, this week they fixed the white balance issue, and the show actually looked 100 times better, in my opinion.
I didn't notice. I feel like a jabroni.
Did you notice Shane Taylor versus Crazy Steve on BTI?
I did. So, yes, I did. Yes.
Do you know Shane Taylor? Have you seen him before? It's okay.
I have not. No. This is not me being. I'm trying to find the right words to say because I love big meaty men slapping me too.
He's a big boy. He's a big boy. That's right.
I'm trying to not be a wild boy because I don't know that man. He was really good in the ring. And Crazy Steve, again, knowing what I know from him now that this is a blind man, his in-ring, superb. Like, that honestly was one of my favorite, one of the best matches of the card, and that was on BTI. So, like, I thought it was great. He's a monster. He's so large.
BTI is putting together a string of good matches, and it's starting to get scary because I'm starting to be like, oh, I'm actually looking forward to watching BTI, and not just because I get to clown on George Iceman. Instead, I get to actually watch the matches and enjoy it. So Shane Taylor and Crazy Steve open up, and they have the single match on BTI. It's fun. I mean, listen, it's a big guy versus the spry, littler guy who is a biter, and I love it. At the beginning, Crazy Steve turns to Shane Taylor, and he's like, I told Black Taurus that he could have what's left of you after I bite your face off. And then Taylor replies something like, I'm gonna be both their asses. and then Steve just bites Shane Taylor. So they have a good match. Eventually, Crazy Steve bites Shane Taylor, hits a second rope DDT, and pins him. And I did not expect that. I thought Shane Taylor would walk out with the victory in his debut, but it turns out, nope, Crazy Steve got the win. And then apparently his DDT's name is Kiss.
I mean, he's already biting people. I'm just going to go here with the whole idea that Crazy Steve is actually crazy, and maybe he should be tested for rabies, because you can't keep biting people. You can't keep biting people. I mean, I know you hang out with a Taurus, a bull, but you can't bite people. You can't bite people, Crazy Steve.
You think Crazy Steve taught Shayna Baszler how to make an impact?
Crumps. That's my answer.
Remember when Shayna Baszler debuted on the main roster in WWE and she bit Becky Lynch and made her bleed, and everyone was like, she's a vampire. And I was like, I think she just got tips from Crazy Steve.
They were hanging out in the back of that gym.
It's wild. But yes, there was a big pop for Shane Taylor because he's big in Texas. He's over in Texas. A good match between those two. I really enjoyed it. And people were waiting for Shane Taylor to show up somewhere. It's nice to see him show up in Impact. So hopefully we'll see more of him. Yeah. Really good match for him and Crazy Steve. Let's move on. The actual Impact show. We open up with Ace of Beys versus the debuting Aussie Open in Impact Wrestling. For those of you who don't know, Aussie Open are the current New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong Tag Team Champions. But of course, you know that because if you watch AEW, you've seen them tagging with Will Ospreay as part of United Empire. But no, they are also a regular 2-on-2 tag team.
I did not know that before tonight. I thought they were a part of like this trios conglomerate over in New Japan.
So United Empire has multiple members, but they've made a concerted effort to make like the trios version Aussie Open and Will Ospreay. But Ospreay is not going to work Impact, at least not for now. Instead, they had Aussie Open working Impact, and they, by the way, Aussie Open won those New Japan Strong Tag titles from the debuting Uemura, who debuted tonight on Impact. And his tag team partner was former TNA standout, a guy known as the Fallen Angel, Christopher Daniels.
I wanted to make a joke, but I will keep my jokes to myself because I realize in this moment I'm not funny.
The currently suspended from AEW and pulled from the road, Christopher Daniels.
That was my joke. Thank you.
That's what I get. Anyway, a good match between Aussie Open and Ace of Beys. Honestly, not a big fan of the outcome, but the two teams really tore it up. What do you think of the match? What got you? What didn't get you?
Okay, so first of all, I want to make sure I get this man's name right. Mark Davis has a really stiff kick, and afterwards, I'm going to have to fight you real life because he kicked the crap out of Ace Austin and Chris Bay. Again, I'm tired of seeing Chris Bay losing. I feel like for every one win he gets a string of 5 losses. I kind of was expecting this maybe to counteract the Good Brothers losing the tag team championships, that maybe Ace of Beys would pick up a win here against a debuting Aussie Open. I was wrong. I was like, well, Shane Taylor lost. Why wouldn't these guys lose? But Impact is not predictable. So I'll give you kudos for that. I have to put over, let me look at my notes real quick. It was that super kick into like this splat off of Bay, because like he tried to jump off the middle rope and then he just kicked the crap out of him, and that man's body just said, ooh, he crumpled. Oh my goodness, they're so stiff. But I enjoyed the match. Overall, I think it was good. I just really wish Ace of Beys would win. Do something with them, please, Mercy. I'm begging.
Yeah. Ace of Beys are stringing together a lot of really good like tag team tandem offense, and I'm really appreciating that. I love it. But yeah, there was a lot of just, I don't know why they keep losing. I'm hoping that they're building them to something bigger down the line once Good Brothers move on, because it sounds like they are. But the finish was the Art of Finesse being countered by Kyle Fletcher, who hits a super kick, and then they do an alley-oop flip slam on Bay. It's kind of a weird double team move. And then Aussie Open does the forearms. They hit the Coriolis, which is what they call it. What is Coriolis, you might ask? Well, I looked it up on the internet for you. It is a force in an inertial or fictitious force that acts on objects in motion within a frame of reference that rotates with respect to an inertial frame. In a reference for, no, I'm not going to read the whole thing. Basically, it hurts.
It sounds like that meme of buttered toast always falls this way and cats always land on their feet. So if you put it like this, it's infinite. That's what that sounds like.
Yes, that is exactly it. And I will hear no other questions about it. So that's the match. And again, Ace of Beys, I'm hoping they start stringing on some wins. And also, we need more tag teams in Impact, which is strange to say because for the longest time, Impact Wrestling was like a land of great tag team wrestling, but it's kind of moved now over to the AEW side of things. We have stronger tag teams in AEW. I would like to see Impact kind of renew their tag team division.
Okay, I can agree with that. I never looked at Impact's tag team division because I feel like you said, for me, who's someone who's like a little bit newer, I think there's plenty of tag teams. I think there's a lot going on. I think that right now the Impact any scene is really being strangleholded by Honor No More, so it can feel like there is not a lot, but maybe there isn't, and that's why it's being stranglehold by Honor No More. But I didn't notice, so I'm gonna definitely be looking next time. Like,
see who's working.
Mm-hmm. See who's working that day.
That's right. Honor No More are there backstage. They're not with Vincent and PCO. When we found out, that's because Vincent is cleansing PCO of any doubt. We got that promo later, and we'll talk about it later because woof. Maria's like, there's a lot more work to do. They have new tag champions, and that's evidence of change. And then Kenny King is like, can't lose focus, can't take anything for granted. What's missing is my X Division title. And Eddie Edwards then says a bunch of words, and then the deck is always stacked against Honor No More. Tonight's beginning chance for Josh Alexander to show that he's on the side of Honor No More, yada yada. Josh will make his choice tonight, as originally determined by George Iceman. Do you have anything to add from that promo from Honor No More? Because I got nothing.
I said last week I'm turning face on Honor No More, so I have some compliments, and I wrote them down.
By all means.
So the compliment number one is that Maria Kanellis' makeup looks really nice.
Yes, she is a beautiful woman. Absolutely. She is very talented. She is a wonderful manager, and she is very smart.
And that's the only thing that I wrote as far as compliments are concerned. I'm just like, it was notable that it wasn't Vincent and PCO. So yeah, they're going to do the cleansing thing. Like you said, woof, I bark when there's danger. There's definitely danger. But it's like, Kenny King, I don't understand how you can feel like this card was stacked against you. You guys literally cheated. You literally cheated. But it's the same old narrative of whatever it is. I unfortunately feel like there is an X Division championship raid in Kenny King's immediate future. And what can I do? What can I do? Because I'm not going to not watch, but I'm going to be like this.
So Kiros is saying, say nice things about Honor No More, please. I know that we trash them a lot, and rightfully so, quite honestly.
It's really me. It's heel Cresta. It's really me.
OGK, absolutely amazing tag team, and two great human beings. Matt Taven and Mike Bennett are great wrestlers, great human beings.
Absolutely.
Big fans of them. Just the Honor No More stable is just not for me. And it's just not a very well placed stable. It's not.
I like them individually, but together,
I don't give a shit about Edward Edwards, and that crowd did not give a shit about Edward Edwards either.
And they let him know that they don't give a shit about Edward Edwards.
The worst possible thing you can do as a member of the audience is nothing. And that crowd did nothing.
They hit you with it's Edward Edwards. What's going on Twitter tonight? Let me take a look.
Exactly. Let me tweet these spoilers real quick. And we're done. What else is going on?
You need a bid? You want a bid?
It's a match that should be done at Victory Road and not at Bound for Glory. But whatever. They got a correct course on that world title match. And we'll talk about that when we get to the main event. Instead, we'll give it a second. Grant B with a super chat. Shout out to Tim and Joel Pod on Fightful Overbooked. Every Sunday at noon Eastern, myself and Tim, we host a show that you should never find on Sundays at noon Eastern because we talk about wrestling in the most absurd way possible. I put over Tim because he is a very big casual fan, and I am not.
We love Tim.
We love Tim up in this place. Good Brothers over Gia Miller, and they're like, you lost tag titles, so what's next? And then they do a babyface promo where they're just like, okay, hold on. It's you know what they do? This is what they actually do. They say they're gonna win tag titles again, but they didn't say Impact. They didn't say anywhere specific. They just said we're going to be tag team champions again. And I'm like, that's smart. Like, you know that this is the end of the line for you. And then they also said we're not done with Honor No More. And I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ.
That was my face. It was like, please be done.
Why? And then the Motor City Machine Guns come in. And I guess they forgot that their faces in Impact because they're healing it up here. And they point out that both teams have never wrestled each other. Gallows is like, there's only room for one machine gun in Impact, and that's Carl Anderson. And I'm like, I say nay, because there's only one machine gun who's stuck around throughout these TNA years, and it's not Carl Anderson. They tease it as like the main event for Bound for Glory anywhere in the world, yada yada, except that means that the match is actually next week.
I mean, it is what it is. I do want to see that match. I do want to see Motor City Machine Guns versus the Good Brothers. I was like, do they go back to WWE? I kind of don't want them to. I'd rather see them do a stint in AEW, or ideally stay in Impact. Because if we think about tactics and you just said they're lacking, I would love for them to stick around, but not versus Honor no more. Yes, Motor City Machine Guns, and they hung out with Jay Lethal one time, and they've been healing it up. Jay Lethal, not even once.
Yeah. Mickie James takes on Rachel Rose. If you don't know who Rachel Rose is, she's currently the Deadlock Pro Wrestling Women's Champion. Gets a lot of really good offense in. She's actually quite a really good wrestler if you haven't seen her before. And I like that Mickie James is giving a lot to these women and giving them an opportunity to look good, despite the fact that we know that a McDT gets the win. But a really good showing for Rachel Rose. Anything for you to add to that match?
I really like that kick that she did where she did the split and then came down. That looked like it came down with force.
Yes, it was really good. And it's funny because she like lifted up her leg, she grabbed it, got into position, and then did it, and it just made it look that much more impactful, for a lack of better term. She made it look really good. I like that. Mia Yim is with Scott D'Amore backstage. They're just chatting. Kenny King interrupts, kicks Mia out of the conversation, and says, YIMNOW, and then points out. It was a very strange interaction because it's like, talking about comic books and anime, aren't you? And I'm like, well, this is getting weird. Is that what Scott D'Amore and Mia Yim talk about? Like, what are we doing?
I mean,
anyway,
she's a huge nerd, but like, he was so rude. Kenny King was so rude. And I get it. Rude. So rude, but he needs a spanking.
Right. Kenny King's like, I'm missing my third X Division championship because your referees took it away, and said, you gave it to that crackhead, Mike Bailey.
When he said that, I was like, who approved this?
that what?
Who approved this? First of all, Kenny King, the audacity. That's one thing you got, is the audacity. Second of all, you cheated.
Scott D'Amore is just like, yeah, okay, I see your beef and it's illogical. And then King's like, I want a rematch. Well, he's like, well, next week it's going to be Speedball Mike Bailey versus Mascara Dorada. So you and I talking about that happening at Victory Road. Not happening. It's going to be next week on the show, which I'm looking forward to because there are a lot of really good matches next week, and we'll talk about that later. Scott's like, you can wait, but Kenny's like, I don't want to wait. So Scott makes Kenny versus Yuya Uemura, and that's next. So Kenny King versus Yuya Uemura. It's probably the longest match of the night. Yuya is on an excursion now, and that's how the Young Lion system works in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Once you're done being in New Japan, you move out, you do other stuff. You get instead of your black tights, you get colors and gimmicks and whatever you want to make of yourself. So Impact's part of his excursion. He's super talented and he's really solid, and it just felt like this match was happening for the sake of having a match. What did you think of it?
I had never seen this young man wrestle before. He was so good. And I did ended up looking at the, like you said, about the New Japan. They encourage them, like, after you do the Young Lions, go out there, learn another style, get gimmicks, be as weird as you want to be. There's not just one way. So this way, if you do come back to New Japan, you're super diversified. You've learned how to wrestle this style, whatever it is. Honestly, Mia Yim had every right to come out there and kick this man on top of his head. How are you going to say if your man worked at Chippendales, he could get your hair done? Kenny King, you're rude. I chuckled a little bit because all I could think of is, and maybe I'm showing my age, but I don't know if y'all remember, I think it was Saturday Night Live skit with Chris Farley doing this, and that's all I could think of was Keith Lee in that one moment. So her making, like, please tell me you remember that.
I do. Unfortunately, I do. And now I'm thinking about Keith Lee doing that dance. And then I also see him being like, fat man and a little coat. Thank you, Cresta. You've ruined my week.
You're welcome. All you gonna see in your nightmares is Keith Lee in your corner.
Keith Lee in a shot-for-shot remake of Tommy Boy. Mia Yim gets involved after Yuya's tossed out of the ring by Kenny King. Kenny King tries to use the ropes as an advantage to get the pin, but of course Yim knocks that off. King grabs Yim by the hair. Yim kicks King in the face. Uemura hits a top rope crossbody, and that's his finish for the win. I'm hoping Yuya Uemura finds a more interesting finish. Otherwise, Uemura gets the win in his debut. Kenny King looks like a bitch, and he's probably never going to challenge for the X Division title again. Am I right?
Yes.
Probably not. Oh, okay. Anyway, Macklin,
I want to be positive.
Oh yeah, good luck with that. I'm trying here, folks. This wasn't my favorite episode, but there were some things that I liked. Steve Macklin's backstage with GM Miller, and she's like, "Hey, what you want? I want to know the truth about Moose and Macklin." And he's like, "Oh, you don't know what you've heard." And then he said, Macklin's like, "We have no strategy. We just want to give, or what is it? I just want to give Moose something to think about." That's what it was. And so next week it's Moose and Macklin versus DK. Sure, that's why Crazy Steve got the win, because they're going to make them look strong.
Yeah.
When Moose and Macklin defeat them, that's the BTI thing. BTI, it's like, we're going to give you a win, and then whoever is going to face you on Impact is going to beat you. That seems to be the way. Yeah. And then Macklin smiles and is like, I guess Moose thought about it. So I guess they are pals or not. I don't know. Are they friends?
It sounds like a hired gun situation gone awry. Like Moose paid Macklin to do a job and now wants to be friends with Macklin. And Macklin's like, "I'm an assassin. I don't make friends, you idiot."
Dumbass.
Exactly. Like what are you doing? Like you hired me for a service. We're not friends. And if you want to continue doing this service, you got to think smart. You thinking with your emotions. And Sami Callihan talks about it later on in a promo, which I don't like to agree, but Sammy's absolutely right. Y'all are working yourself into a shoot, you jabroni brothers. Like at the end of the day, I feel like I've seen this before. People like, Sami Callihan's an idiot. We're going to jump him. By the end of that match, y'all are bloody, and Sami Callihan is like, chaos, chaos. So
Sami Callihan's backstage in his red streaming room, and he's like, "I'm one step ahead. I'm the puppet master of pro wrestling." And then he says, "The Death Machine is always pulling strings." I can't do that voice for too long, or else I start to hurt inside.
Vocal burn. Don't do it.
Yeah, exactly. Just he's already got vocal fry, and I'm not doing it. Death Machine. Anyway, says by the time we get to Victory Road and Barbed Wire Massacre, Sami will have both men at each other's throats instead of working together. So, like you said, Sami is making everyone his bitch. Yeah.
When he said he's the puppet master, all I could think of is, "You're not Don Callis. You're not the Invisible Hand. Nice try."
Keith Lee in a van down by the river.
By the river.
And the thing is, Keith Lee would have to be like, "Yes, in an automatic vehicle down by the waterfront or over by the boardwalk."
I don't want y'all to see me ugly laughing. That's a classic. I'd pay good money for Swerving Our Glory in a remake.
Oh my God, watch it happen. I know you're watching, Keith Lee. I know you're never going to want to do this again. Philly76 with the super chat saying, "Really enjoying the infusion of New Japan strong talent with Mascara and Yuya and Aussie Open. I wouldn't mind seeing some of them at Bound for Glory and a possible joint show." I really like the idea of a joint Impact New Japan Strong special, either as like a 2-hour event on Access, or make it like an Impact Ultimate Insiders event, like one of the specials like Victory Road or any of those.
Yeah.
Make that a New Japan Strong versus Impact talent. That'd be a really fun show.
I agree. I would like that. I'm really falling in love with New Japan. So yes, anytime I get a chance to see Ishii, oh yes. Yes.
Good stuff. Cody Diener's down on the farm, and Eric Young's somewhere smoking a cigarette. And then Diener's like, "Eric," he's got like he's playing Shock the Monkey on a big boom box outside of the house, and he's just like, "Stella." Anyway, and instead he yells, "Designer." Sure. And Eric Young opens the door, walks out, and he's like, "Are you sure this is what you want?" And then Diener's like, "Yes." And then Eric's like, "Do you still believe in the design?" I can't do his voice, but it's really like, again, vocal fry. It says yes, and this, what is the essence of the design? It's violence. And then a group of like questionably sized men and either a child or a woman in yellow walk up, and they all start screaming violence over and over again. So are we to believe that Violent by Design is going to be like this massive group of people now, or what is this?
I don't know, but I'm going to put my tinfoil hat. I'm going to make one, and I'm just going to show up to stream one day and put it on my head.
Please do.
If this leads to a Cody Deaner versus Eric Young match, yes, please. Yes, please. Because at first I was like, is he going back to the Deaners? No, they released Cousin Jay. Cousin Jay don't work there no more. Okay, or Cousin Jay, whatever it is, he don't work there no more. So is he going back to Eric Young? Oh, Eric Young are about to be real delusional. They're going to have a match at some point. Maybe, I don't know, maybe they are now going to be a tag team. And I do like how they all started chanting violence, because to me it gave big delusion. I love a good delusional angle. I'm like, Eric Young, you're so delusional, and if you're going to recruit all these people, you know, they say pride comes before the fall. So I hope that this leads into a Cody Deaner, Eric Young thing, because I think with how Cody Deaner has improved up until now, that match is going to be good. And I know that Eric Young is going to put him over if he doesn't beat Deaner like 1 or 2 times before then. But when he does put him over, that match is going to be good. And I feel like this is a beautiful beginning to Deaner's To the Moon.
That's the other guy. That's on Tuesdays.
Well, I'm still in his gimmick.
All right, I'm fine with that. By the way, for anyone who wants, I just popped it into the chat. Impact Wrestling over on their Shop Impact page has the Joe Doring Keep Calm and Kick Ass t-shirt. All the proceeds are going directly to Big Joe. If you don't know by now, Big Joe Doring had brain cancer. Unfortunately, it has returned. He underwent surgery. As far as we know, things are okay right now, but we wish him the best. And of course, Impact's been rallying behind Joe. If you want, you can go and support him by buying one of those t-shirts. They look pretty good, by the way. And I don't think they're too expensive. Last I checked, I think there were $17, $30, and all the proceeds go to Big Joe. So go ahead. It's link in the chat, and maybe I'll toss it into the description of the video if I can. If not, then just find it on social media, because it's everywhere. Like, all the wrestlers are retweeting it, which is great. So that is VBD right now. Chelsea Green and Taya Valkyrie have a match, and then to me, that was one of my favorite matches of the night. We had Rosemary and Jessica accompanying Taya to the ring, and of course, they're arguing in the background while Taya is walking down. Chelsea's got Deonna Purrazzo because they are the Impact Knockouts Tag Champions. Taya is just trying to get the crowd into it, and she's just struggling.
Taya Valkyrie.
God bless Taya Valkyrie. She's trying so hard. She does an interesting take on a Blue Thunder Bomb, easy for me to say, gets a 2.9. She hits the stomp on Chelsea Green, who like sells it like death. She just kind of takes it and then looks up and is just like, oh, like she's about to fall over and pass out. It's good stuff, 2.9. And then Green gets the referee distracted, so Deonna Purrazzo trips up Taya. Rosemary clocks Deonna from behind. Chelsea pokes Taya Valkyrie in the eye. Taya runs into Jessica because she's sick. Chelsea hits the Unprettier and pins Taya. What do you have to say?
Rosemary is a treasure. From the moment she came down the ramp, it was like, I'm here, but I swear to God, Jessica, I'm here. I love her. Also, Chelsea Green is a tough woman, because there was a time when if I'm not mistaken, Taya Valkyrie did double knees into the turnbuckle on Chelsea, and that looked brutal. Like, I feel like I saw Chelsea's head go like this, but she is a tough woman. I said off air that my roommate had saw the match on BTI of Masha Slamovich versus Deonna Purrazzo, and Masha Slamovich kicked the crap out of Chelsea Green in the stomach, and my room was like, oh my God. I'm like, no, don't let that fool you. That woman is tough. She built for it tough. Like, Chelsea Green is a tough woman. So like, that match was really good, but I wonder now how long before Rosemary McFucking has it. Okay,
oh, she's close.
She's so close, because I've seen her matches before, and she's gonna go ape shit. And this is gonna be Taya Valkyrie, like that meme from Community where old boy comes in and drops the pizza because everything's on fire.
Perfect, because that's the multiverse right there.
Period. And one day we'll see Taya Valkyrie and Donald Glover in the same video game. We're already on our way there.
Yes, absolutely. I'm for it. Jordynne Grace is with Gia Miller in the back. She puts over Masha Slamovich and is like, she believes the only reason Masha Slamovich is undefeated is because she has the ability to psych out her opponents. And Jordan's like, that's not going to work on me. And I know I'm in for the fight of my life, but I'm prepared. I'm not going to let it get into I'm not going to let her get into my head. And then Grace walks away. She goes into her locker room, and there's a giant collage of Jordynne Grace photos with "Masha's gonna kill you" in giant red letters. And boy, do they stand on that shot for quite a long time.
All I could think of to myself is like, Masha, I knew you and Killer Kelly were holding hands while you were decorating this room. Because this looks like something Killer Kelly would do with Glee. And Masha's not going to let you steal her thunder. And I'm like, honestly, I want to see that tag team. Two psycho killers. But honestly, I liked it. It's effective. It got me.
Killer Kelly likes to watch. So I'm just going to assume that Masha was like, hey, you want to see me do some shit? And Killer Kelly's like, do I?
I don't know if this is too much of a meta joke. She's like, you want to watch me do something? Only if I could be dressed up as Superman in the closet.
You went deep on that. Good on you. All right, we got to talk about PCO and Vincent. What the hell was this?
Woof.
Yeah.
Cresta dog barks when there's danger. Woof.
Vincent gave PCO new life. PCO emerged from the darkness. Vincent is a reflection of PCO. Vincent says, our voices are in unison. We belong to the communal voice of Honor No More. There can be no dissent, no doubt about our mission. I am, you are, we are Honor No More. So basically, PCO and Vincent are going to probably break off from Honor No More after they screw up next time.
I don't know, man. This could have been sent in the email. I don't know. I don't know, man. Because I feel like PCO has never really been the problem. The only time he was the problem is when you put him on the spot. But anytime he's in a match, anytime you needed him to deliver, he's the one who delivers. Honestly, it's Edwards who be messing up, bro. Like, PCO literally did nothing. In my mind, I scrubbed that segment. Vincent replaced him with Crazy Steve, and PCO is going to bite people next week. That's what happened in my mind. So I don't even remember that segment.
It was awful. It was just not good.
Yeah. Like, if they were trying to convey something, I'm not sure what it was. But again, like, Vincent and PCO, in my opinion, have never been. Well, Vincent lost to Josh Alexander, but you're not beating Josh Alexander. So, like, I don't get it. Like, he literally put Luke Gallows through a ring. So how is it his fault?
Just have PCO and Vincent team up.
Yeah.
We're talking about needing tag teams. Have them split off from Honor No More and team up. They don't need to win all the time, but at least PCO doesn't need to absolutely destroy himself with every match. But first, we got to do an Edwards versus PCO blow off, and that's fine. Do a big barbed wire massacre match. I don't care what it is. Do some sort of plunder match. Have Eddie Edwards beat PCO, I guess, or PCO cement himself as a babyface, and then team up with Vincent and do a tag team with those two. That's good enough for me. I would be happy with that.
Or replace his brain, or have him team up with Johnny Swinger, and he's the swing robot. This is your fault.
I'm in. Let's do it.
Me being a Johnny Swinger stan is your fault. So if they take PCO to the dungeon, daddy, have him watch some tapes, daddy, he'll be reprogrammed in no time.
I am Swingbot.
Yes.
I'm in for it.
Scott D'Amore, book it.
I'm also in for you all to leave a thumbs up here on this video at youtube.com/Fightful and donate a super chat. Would you come and support us here? Make Cresta and I feel like we're humans again and not giant robots named PCO. Damn it, Swingbots. Speaking of digital media,
you love it.
I know. Gujjar versus Brian Myers happened. It's a good match. Gujjar gets a lot out of Brian Myers. Definitely just a solid Gujjar focused match. Myers lures Bhupinder Gujjar into the ropes, runs his head into the ring post face first, and then of course Gujjar fights back after Myers had him down for a bit. Yada yada, ripcord knee, Samoan drop 2.9. Myers hits the implant EDT on Gujjar 2.9, and then Myers goes outside, takes a powder, grabs the digital media championship, and he kind of puts it on the ring apron, and then Gujjar grabs it and starts a tug of war in the ring, and then Bhupinder Gujjar inadvertently hits Brian Myers with the title, gets DQ'd, kind of shrugs, and then walks off with the title again.
I gotta tell you, at first I was like, maybe I'm lukewarm on it, but these two together are really good. Gujjar's ripcord knee, I feel like this man freezes in air. Like, it's literally like Street Fighters that got Tiger Knee, bro. It's so clean looking, and they make each other look good. I will say the malarkey at the end. You get so mad that you get DQ'd. I don't know, man. At this point, just give it to him clean. Are y'all really gonna make him get a check mark before you give it to him? I don't have a check mark.
We talked about this. I didn't think that Gujjar should get his title shot until he got his blue check mark. He should have just come down to the ring, and Admire should have been like, "You don't have a check mark. What are you doing?" And then Gujjar just like throws to this big screen, and on the big screen is just like, "Drum roll, please." And then it refreshes the page, and he's got the stupid blue check mark. And then Gujjar just kicks him in the face and wins the championship.
I think we need to start a petition on Twitter that says #verify Bhupinder Gujjar. Period.
Saw Bhupinder Gujjar a couple of weeks ago for Greektown Pro Wrestling in Toronto. He faced RJ City. RJ City then sat down with me for an interview, which was really just RJ City talking at me for a good 15 minutes after the show. And yeah, that's up on youtube.com/Fightful. Go watch it afterwards. It was...
You did amazing, sweetie.
Thanks, Mom.
You're welcome.
Myers Gujjar and Scott D'Amore are in the back after the match, and in 2 weeks, Scott D'Amore says they're going to do a Digital Media Championship ladder match, which, by the way, I hear is a really, really, really fun match. So I'm looking forward to that. They're making us wait 2 weeks for that. I don't know if I can wait that long, Cresta.
I think honestly, he should have just did a poll online, the poll on the poll for the Digital Media Championship, and whoever the crowd chooses, that's who wins. Unless you want to cheat.
Ooh, I'm all for it. Next week, Moose and Macklin versus Decay, X Division Championship. Crackhead Mike Bailey takes on Mascara Dorada. Sorry, I just gotta add. Am I gonna call him Crackball now? Like, what am I supposed to call him?
Honestly, if Speedball sees you again, Kenny King, you got an eye jam you coming. That was rude.
Why do you call him a crackhead, Kenny King?
I feel like that's just something he was thinking it and it rolled off the tongue and he said, I'm going with it. Screw it.
They could have retaken this. They could have done another take.
To quote Shannon Sharp, nope.
Good Brothers take on Motor City Machine Guns. Killer Kelly takes on Alicia, which we found out because in a backstage segment, Tasha Steelz, Savannah Evans, and Gail Kim walks in, and Gail Kim's like, "Hey, Killer Kelly thinks you might like to watch her." And Tasha's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And so Tasha finds out that, Killer Kelly has a match next week against Alicia, and Killer Kelly has requested Tasha on commentary for that match. There we go.
Poor Alicia. That's all I have to say. Poor Alicia.
Getting kicked ass, man.
Like when you got ran over, plowed by Masha Slamovich, and now you about to get choked by Killer Kelly. Poor girl. Justice for Lish.
Should have joined Honor No More when she was presented with the option from her husband. And now every night when they're having dinner, Edward Edwards is spouting off about the war, and he's just like, "Lish, you had your chance."
That's
and Lish is just like, "I don't know what to tell you."
Well, I mean, yeah, there's no win-win here because either you don't join and you get beat up by Masha, or you do join and get beat up by Heath. So both angry redheaded people, both angry.
Just angry redheads all over the place. I don't understand it. Speaking of Masha Slamovich, at Victory Road, Jordynne Grace is going to take on an opponent picked by Masha in a, what's it called? Pick your poison match. Yes. A lot of P's going on, and my brain just froze. Who's it going to be? Who is Masha going to pick? Is it going to be Killer Kelly, or who should it be?
Why the first thing that came to my head was Giselle Shaw.
Interesting. Because
that's the only one she showed a semblance of mercy to. And Giselle Shaw looked really good. I mean, Jordynne Grace is going to kill that girl. But I'm like, who else would it be? Deanna Purrazzo, who don't get paid by the hour? You know what I mean? Like,
and Purrazzo and Green are probably going to be taking on Rosemary and Taya at this show, if I had to guess.
I don't know. Maybe Jessica, because she's sick.
She is, in fact, sick.
I don't know. I say Giselle Shaw for the chaos pick.
I don't hate that because, like you said, she showed mercy to Giselle Shaw. Giselle hasn't been featured on Impact since. She doesn't have a character anymore because her two besties left her. What can she do?
I mean, even in the matches that we saw of her on BTI, I will say Giselle Shaw has gotten a lot better. Her uppercuts are giving me Claudio Castagnoli, and these knees and the boots, she's really good. So I could see it. But again, it's Jordynne Grace. That is a tall mountain to climb. So I don't know if she'll beat her, but it'll be interesting because I could see Masha Slamovich and Giselle Shaw being like an odd couple sort of situation. Or Killer Kelly because they're both creeps, and I'm here for it.
I have a feeling it's going to be someone not part of the Knockouts locker room yet.
Mm-hmm.
Only because they usually do the whole like bring someone in for the tapings and everything. So they're doing Victory Road and then they're doing tapings in Nashville the same weekend. I can see them having the pick your poison person be part of the tapings the next couple of days. So it's Masha picks someone from like, I don't know.
New Japan?
Yeah, but I was going to say Stardom because New Japan doesn't employ women, right? That they don't have women effectively on the show, not yet at least. But anyway, long and the short of it is, I think it'll be someone that maybe Masha knows but isn't part of Impact yet.
Hikaru Shida, book it.
Actually, Shida would be a really good pick. I'd be fine with that.
I mean, Hikaru Shida is not my favorite, but I can admit that her knees too are vicious as well. And I think Hikaru Shida versus Jordynne Grace, this would be me the whole time like, but who wins? But who wins? But who wins? But who wins? So I wouldn't hate that. I know it's not going to happen because AEW on fire, but I would like that.
Penelope Ford. I don't know. I love Penelope Ford, but that's just me.
I think honestly, she's a lot better than some of her presentation. I like Penelope Ford. She's really good, actually.
It's just really upsetting that now whenever someone sees her, all they can think is Penelope.
I heard that on Russell talk, and that's all I hear is Penelope.
Penelope Ford. Thanks, Booker T. You've really done us well.
King Booker.
Ugh. Coming down the home stretch, guys. Get your super chats in, get your humper chats in at humperchats.com. Here is the main event match and the main event, whatever the hell happened afterwards. Heath takes on Edward Edwards from Honor No More. Let's just fast forward right to the end because it's a fine match, but really, whatever. Wake up call from Heath on Edwards, and then Mike Bennett gets one too because he shows up, and then there's a low blow from Edward Edwards onto Heath, a Boston knee party, and a 1-2-3, and now a promo. Edward Edwards calls out Josh Alexander, and he just talks again. Edward Edwards there's a bigger war. And then Josh pushed back. I don't know what war you're talking about. And Edwards is like, I can see clearly after being blinded by the adulations of so-called fans. And which side of the war are you going to be on, Josh Alexander? Josh Alexander's like, I don't know, whichever side you're not on. And then Edward Edwards is like, well, we should just do this match right now. And I'm like, oh my God, yes, you should. Please just get it out of the way. Fucking do it. Just do it and let's move on. And we won't do the match at Bound for Glory. Let's go. Josh hits a bunch of German suplexes. Kenny King gets involved. Then Heath tries to help out and he gets beaten down. And then Rich Swann comes out and he gets beaten down. Matt Taven comes out and then they beat down Josh Alexander after everyone else has been beaten down. Edward Edwards hits a diehard driver on Josh Alexander, then hits the Boston Knee Party, grabs the world title. So you know he's not going to win it at Bound for Glory in a month, and says a bunch of words. And the crowd was disinterested, to say the least. Cresta.
The crowd goes mild. That's what happened.
Boy, howdy.
I mean, we already knew. I felt like Heath was going to lose because whether he was going to get beat straight up, which I don't see happening, old boy was going to cheat. And it was really about the angle. And it's like, how do you keep asking Josh Alexander to make his choice when he told you no? He been told you no. He's like, whatever you're talking about, I don't care. Even if you've got good points, a broken clock could be right twice a day. I don't care. I don't care. Whatever you are selling, I am not buying. Your card is declined. So I don't even know why he was trying to pressure him into something like that. I do feel bad for anyone going against Honor No More. Like literally at this point, you need all 56 million members of the Bullet Club to fight Honor No More.
There's just no... What were they doing? What was what was the point of this whole come and join us story? Like what? Well, because Eddie's crazy, because he's delusional. But meanwhile, like Josh isn't impressionable. He's not. Yeah. He's very clearly an Impact TNA guy. What was the point of this? What does this accomplish other than just making Josh sound like a bloated idiot?
I mean, if I'm going to be honest with you, pick my other knee up so I can get in my wrestling pose.
Good luck to you.
I mean, like at the end of the day, even if you go back as far as Josh Alexander versus Eric Young for the Impact World Champion, they did this whole beautiful promo how he was saying, Impact gave me a chance. Impact has been the one to be through with it. Be through with me all the way. And they were like, if you have there's an option C, and I took it, and they've been supporting me. Why would he then join Honor No More, who every week, whether they believe it or not, you're literally given chances every week by Scott D'Amore, whether you fumble the bag or you've pissed off enough people like Heath to come after you every week, that's on you. So why would Josh Alexander, your world champion, something you want, join your little group so you don't have to fight him? Because that's what it sounds like. You already know Josh Alexander's a walking weapon. What's a Boston knee party going to do to an AK-47 knee? Like, riddle me that, Hove. Like,
True.
You want to have him on your team. So when it comes time to fight, like, my guy, Josh, pull the finger poker, just lay there for a second for me, buddy. Because you already know Josh Alexander gonna beat you up. You already know that.
So I ask you now, because we're a month away from Bound for Glory. There's really only been, there's 2 matches announced, right? This and Jordynne Grace versus Masha.
Mm-hmm.
Are you looking forward to Bound for Glory if it were tomorrow? Knowing that that's the main event, Josh Alexander versus Edward Edwards. And let's just say they said the rest of the card is going to be incredible mystery vortex. People are going to come out and, all these stars are going to have title matches, whatever it is. But you know that the main event, the last match to go on, is going to be Edward Edwards and Josh Alexander for the Impact World Championship. Are you looking forward to it?
I'd still watch. I will want Josh Alexander to beat the brakes off of Eddie Edwards. I'm beginning to put Eddie Edwards, and I don't want to put him in the same box as The Miz, but I'm going to watch to see you get beat up. I'm going to watch. Maybe they'll beat some sense into you so you can be the heart and soul of Impact again. But in this current iteration, it's not for me personally. And I think he's a lovely human, lovely wrestler. And I do like his moveset, but I just think Josh Alexander is going to strangle him. Hopefully it'll be like I guess I'm the Eric Young of, now I've lost my way. What do I do? Are you the reason why? Maybe, but I don't think, especially since OGK have the tag titles. So we'll see. If he cheats.
I went into my own world for a minute. I've said this before, I'll say it again. January, Hard to Kill. I think Matt Cardona comes back and takes the Impact World Championship from Josh Alexander. Do you start that at Bound for Glory and have Cardona show up? Do you have him show up afterwards? Do you tell a story in between the time where Eddie Edwards loses the match? Josh Alexander is like, no one can beat me. And then maybe Speedball tries to cash in, do option C. Speedball fails. Then they got to recrown an X Division champion. So now, but where's Speedball in all this? Maybe he gets another title shot. Like, again, I'm kind of like, I'm trying to stretch out the time from October to January for at least what I'm thinking would happen. But yeah, I don't see a point in running Edwards and Alexander as your main event without something big happening afterwards. Because I see what you're saying. It's just not hot. And I know people said the same thing about Eric Young. But like, the stories are too similar for Eric Young and Eddie Edwards versus Josh Alexander, like whoever you place against the other. It's the same story. It's like Impact Heart and Soul or Impact Original versus the Heart and Soul currently of Impact, and he's going to prove that. There needs to be something bigger in the Honor No More Eddie Edwards versus Josh Alexander stuff, and doing a fucking 10-man tag at Victory Road, which is probably what they're going to do, or at least a 6-man is what they're looking like. They'll do, what is it? Eddie Edwards, Kenny King, and Vincent? Or maybe, Eddie Edwards, Vincent, and PCO versus Josh, Rich Swann, and Heath.
Or that is a 6-man tag. Or even if they want to do 4 and 4, maybe a returning Rhino.
If Rhino's back in time, I'd love that. And I would do OGK and Eddie Edwards against Heath, Rhino, and Josh. And then what your tag title match is going to be at Bound for Glory. I would be okay with that.
And I will also say, to piggyback off your stretching things out, what if Kenny King does win the X Division title and now Edwards is like, it's for the good of the group. Why don't you just give me the title so I can cash in or whatever it is? I could see something like that too. if you want to implode Honor No More. I do feel like Honor No More is either A, heading towards all the gold, which I honestly don't want, but if they keep on keeping on, I feel like Eddie Edwards is gonna cheat. I feel like Eddie Edwards might win that. I want to be wrong. I want to be wrong. If it's already taped and I'm wrong, then yes, my third eye is closed.
Well, the good news is it's not taped because you still got a month until the show, and it'll be live on a Friday night.
Okay.
But that being said, I don't know where the Heat is going into this this championship match. They got a lot of time to build it. And again, this is the first show I said at the top of this review. This is the first show from Impact since we started doing these reviews that I'm not enjoying the show, or I didn't enjoy tonight's episode. So I'm looking forward to next week. I think there's a lot of really good stuff on next week's show, a lot of title matches, a lot of fun stuff. But otherwise, tonight just didn't do it for me. If I give it out of 5, it's probably a 2.
I would agree with you, but I am going to go ahead and give it a 3. I'm still going to be biased. I thank you for the Utopia this week. The wrestling always good. That's never up for debate unless someone like really got hurt and then it's like yikes. But like I personally, I'm trying to give Honor No More a chance. Like we give Peace a chance. I'm trying to give Honor No More a chance, but it's just not for me. And I'm glad if y'all like it because you're watching Impact, and that's the most important thing. But I'm gonna give it a 3 for being your Utopia this week because honestly, I would give Impact this whole year a 5 out of 5 because for every crazy thing that went down, here's Impact. You know, it's calm over here. We got wrestling. So I'm giving it a 3 tonight.
And I will give everyone here 11. As in 11,000 of you subscribing to Fightful Select, which is wild. Sean did his victory lap. I don't need to. I'm personally, I've been involved with this site since about 2020, and I think it's absolutely bonkers. The growth we've seen, I think, is really cool. And we appreciate everyone who's been on the ride. Continue to be on the ride because for $5 a month at Fightful Select, you're getting all the right news, all the good stuff, and ton of podcasts, ton of content all the time. Let's go home. Cresta, where can the people find you on the internet?
Ladies and gentlemen, if you missed it at the top of the hour, let me remind you again. My name is Cresta Starr, and I will have another show on Know Your News on YouTube here called Gaming Gone Weird. I will be co-hosting with Jules the Human, and we will be live every Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard, 3 p.m. Central, 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I love you all. You can find me at Cresta the Star that you see down here. On Twitter, there's a link tree in there, and anywhere where you could type Cresta Star, you can find me on TikTok, Instagram, in your basement, in your closet with Killer Kelly eating popcorn. That's where you can find me. Joel, where can they find you?
I'm not a hard man to find. I am at Joel Pearl, JoelPearl. I'll say it here because it's almost the 9th. My wedding anniversary is September 9th. That's tomorrow. So I know that she's not watching, but to my wonderful wife, I just want to say happy anniversary. Love you very much. Ladies, gentlemen, friends beyond the binary. We'll see you next week. Oh, by the way, subscribe to Fightful Overbooked. Do that right now. FightfulOverbooked.com.